On today's show, I'm joined by David Mendes, scientist, writer, and the voice behind Papa PhD. He's on a mission to help grad students and researchers navigate life beyond academia. From codfish and comics to podcasting and purpose, this one's for all rebels in waiting. Welcome to the Rebel Rebel.
This episode of The Rebel Rebel is brought to you by my book, Brand Jitsu. Most brands blend in. They don't mean to, but they do. After 25 years of helping people fix that, I wrote the playbook. It's called Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. It'll show you how to shape your story so it hits and sticks. Grab a copy at your favorite bookstore or head to brandjitsu.com.
Welcome to the Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie. Somewhere around the world, we're going to find out where. Please welcome to the show, David Mendes. David, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well. Super happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm in Montreal, Canada. And so we're kind of having this long distance call today.
Yeah. I haven't been to Montreal since I was a wee one, like probably 9 years old. And still stuck with me, like the daffodils and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful city.
It is. I'm happy to be here, but I haven't gone to your neck of the woods.
It is pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. Yeah,
it's in the cards. Anyway. We need to plan it.
Yep.
But I do want to visit.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you're always welcome. Come on over. So, David, what is it that you do in the world, just so that we can have some sort of shape to the David Mendes experience?
Okay. In the world, there's different things that as careers tend to be today, kind of multifaceted.
Yeah.
The way we connected was through podcasting. So since 2019, I've been running this podcast called Beyond the Thesis with Papa PhD. And it's my mission with that podcast has been to help people in graduate school navigate what happens after I get my degree.
Right.
Because I noticed that as it happened to me, and which I thought, maybe it's just me, I noticed that year after year, I was meeting graduate students coming out, and they were having the same issues as me, which was I maybe don't want to be a professor after going through it, or there's no spots for tenure track professorships. What do I do now? And a bunch of questions like this that were actually, I noticed, affecting the communities. I can say even mental health, a lot of anxiety around it. A lot of doubt around it. And I know people, I myself did something different, and I know a bunch of people who did different things, be it entrepreneurship, scientific art, scientific communication, etc. And in 2019, I said, with different reasons, it was the right moment to start this podcast. I said, okay, I'm going to invite 10 people I know. If they all say yes, I'm going to start this podcast. And then here we are, almost 350 episodes later.
God, well done. That's impressive.
Yeah, but it's been a passion project, and things have changed a little bit in terms of like monetizing it, etc. But the first 5 years was purely a passion project. What I was doing behind the podcast scenes, but which was all actually my work, was leveraging my knowledge of languages and science to write materials for different medical devices or patient associations, etc. Everything medical related, so medical writing we call it. And also the other side, medical translation. Here in Montreal, there's English and French, and a lot of the materials for continuing medical education, patient education, etc., have to be translated from one to the other.
Sure.
And that's the other two facets of what I do professionally.
Wow. You probably don't have any creative license in that sort of writing, do you?
Well, actually, some of it, no. Let's say you're working for the big pharmas, who they have, these huge legal departments who have really strict rules on what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
Not much license there. But on the patient advocacy, patient education side, much more. I have, with other people as a team, created a hip-hop, a rap song about these antibodies that can be used to treat hemophilia. Just to tell you that depending on what project you are,
that's so cool.
agency, on one side, creative agency, but then on the other, more pharma,
Yeah.
corporate side of things, it's much drier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time for a second. Did you always were you headed this way? Were you going to be Papa PhD? Was this predetermined? Like 4-year-old David? Like, what does that look like?
Not at all. Not at all. Actually, the I don't know about you, but for me, the podcasting adventure, let's say, has been transformative completely. Because, well, let's say the 4-year-old, maybe it's a little bit far, but the 8-year-old wanted to be an astronaut or an inventor or something like that. Later on, maybe some music there. Like I said, in high school, science and like Germanics, we called it, like languages. I couldn't have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
But behind all that, so forgetting about the subject matters, was this guy, me, who was quite, introverted, not too easily, or didn't like to be on, in the spotlight,
Yeah.
let's say. And so no, this was totally not. It was totally not on the map for me at like any time before 10 years ago. And I would have even said I would have laughed at it, like me behind a mic on camera, on stage now, because I'm being invited to do some keynotes and things like that. But the mission, the fact that I wanted to help people, the fact that by chance, because I was playing this instrument and I was the guy in the band who had the recording gear, I could start a podcast. All of that kind of aligned, and it built up to now 300 plus episodes later. I'm now comfortable on camera. I'm now comfortable also putting myself out, out there more.
Yeah.
But it's funny because even looking at the years, like since 2019, 2020 until today, there's been an evolution there. Even within the role of doing the podcast, I've evolved and become more natural, more I don't know, more extroverted, let's say.
Okay.
In this context.
Yeah. That's really cool. Do you mostly do like distributive, like what we're doing now, or do you do more in person?
More, well, that's actually just changed this last past year, but the first 5 years, let's say, it was like this.
Yeah.
And through COVID, of course,
yeah.
Zoom or whatever was the way to go.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was strictly that. With the years, you see behind me, I've been able to create a nice little studio space that actually where I can have 1 or 2 guests and record. And actually, in the past year, I've started slowly to try to get people from around me, Montreal or Quebec City, to come and actually do the recordings live.
Very cool.
It's a different experience, but I am now trying to get more of that type of content. If you had talked to me a year and a half ago, I would have said no, just on camera.
That's interesting. I went the other way. From when I started my show in 2018, it was all in person. Like, and if I was seeing somebody, for example, on Vancouver Island, I bring my gear with me. And it wasn't until really just nudging up against COVID, I started doing some Zoom interviews. And then, of course, COVID happened, and then it was all that. And then Riverside comes along, and it's a nice little platform that has all the stuff. So now I'm a little bit more this way, but I do love the in-person stuff.
Yeah, it's different, and I like it a lot. And for me, given that what I want is to connect with the community and get to know the people, get to understand what they need, and et cetera, being able to bring the guests here, spend some time with them before or maybe after the interview adds another layer of how cool of an experience it is, and how gratifying an experience it is for me.
That is really cool. Behind you,
yes,
is that a neuron?
So yeah, it's here. It's a neuron inspired painting, and during, I don't remember what season it was of the show, but I met this PhD student. Now he's a PhD, who also did art. If you go on Instagram, it's at Skywalk art. Instead of sidewalk, it's SCI, like science,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Sidewalk art. And actually, the first thing, I'm gonna move my mic. The first thing I got from him were these records that he was painting on. I don't know. Yeah, that he was. So this one is as a heart and then electronic type circuitry around it. I have one there just with the DNA. You don't see it; it's off camera. DNA. And the other one has a brain instead of the heart. And I really found it so cool. And I said, well, I'm going to buy some of you.
Yeah.
And he was a student, so it was, I was supporting his artistic endeavor
Nice.
too. And also I had some old records that I gave it to them to then do his thing. But then I said, if I can I commandeer something for you? Can I like ask, because I want to decorate my studio more.
Yeah.
And I'd like something neuroscience. And he was the one, Jack is called. He was the one who painted this. So
That's cool.
it's for me, I like how it looks, but the fact that it comes from the community, from at the time a PhD student who was also trying to have this artistic endeavor on the side. Anyway, it makes it even more significant.
That is so cool. That's right. Just want to go off on a little tangent there because I'm just like staring at your studio going, what is that? That is awesome. Right on. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, go check out YouTube and go see this work because it's pretty dope.
Yeah. If you look for Papa PhD, you'll find the channel.
Awesome. So riddle me this, David. What's the one thing that you haven't done yet that you need to do before you shuffle off this mortal coil?
Oola. Okay. That's the big one. The thing I haven't done yet and that I need to do.
Yeah.
Deep question. One thing I haven't been able to do is muster up the courage to reach out to some like more let's say how do you say this, like VIP guests who feel a little bit untouchable. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Steve Bartlett.
Yeah, people like that. And it's a little bit of imposter feelings. But also, well, some of these people also there's like some gatekeeping on how you can get to reach them, because it's understandable, or they would be flooded with emails if that didn't exist.
Yeah.
But there are, I have this kind of dream list of people that I say, if I ever if I ever took the same elevator, I need to have my spiel ready to invite them on the show. And I've done this. With people here from Montreal, from Quebec.
Yeah.
So the show is bilingual. I have some episodes in French, some in English, and I have met some like scientific people who cross the TV, theater, comedy space with science, and they are really well known here in Quebec, in the Quebec TV.
Yeah.
Met them, saw a show, saw them after, told them about the show, and they said right away, "Cool, let's do it." And so now I know I can do it.
Yeah.
But now it's how do I make the universe roll the dice and put me in the same elevator as Neil deGrasse Tyson? That's I still need to.
Well, I'm just gonna put it out there that sometimes when you put stuff out there, stuff happens. We don't know the ways of the universe. We think we do, but
that is true.
It tends to massage things along in just the right way.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. The other thing, and I wonder what's your experience with that is, 6 years of podcasting, all these conversations, I do want to kind of distill that into something where I'm able to not talk about all 300 episodes, but like take the main lessons from a bunch of episodes, or and write a book, or create something that is kind of that I can, if I meet someone who is at that stage of finishing their master's or their PhD, and they said, do you have something to give me where I can kind of learn from all the conversations you've had, if I could have something like that to give them.
Yeah.
And that's, it takes some effort, and it takes some work, but that's also something I want to do, just because you said what you just did, I'm just also throwing it out there to the universe, and let's see
Yeah.
what it's.
Well, yeah, I think it's a matter in that case, it's a matter of doing. I'm working on a book promo for my second book, which will actually be a distillation of the tales of rebels I've had on the show. We just crossed the 200 barrier, which is surreal to me. But yeah, and I guess probably about a year ago, I started talking to my agent about it, and I was like, this is sort of the idea that I have, and it would be, brand adjacent, because my book is on branding and storytelling.
Okay.
And then all these amazing people, yourself included, that have been on the show that have these incredible insights or just ways of thinking a little bit differently. And how can you then take that and put it into a thing that's then useful for other people, other rebels who are like, I want to be whatever that happens to be. Mm-hmm. So I think that's very noble of you, sir. I think you should do it. Come on, universe.
Okay. Come on. Ring me. You know my number.
Get David a book deal. Let's do it. I love it. What do you do to recharge your batteries?
What do I do to recharge my batteries? I have been for some time now, for before COVID, I've been trying to be as regular as I can doing some meditation.
Oh, good.
In the past, before kids, I was doing Aikido. Yeah, that's actually how I met my partner.
Oh, cool.
So maybe there's a story there, and I need to now, when the kids grow, I need to pick it up. I don't know. But I really love I've done it for a long time, on and off. I've always liked Japan, Japanese art, Japanese like manga, anime, etc. But Japanese culture in general. And anyway, that one, Aikido specifically, always has attracted me in a certain way.
It's a beautiful art.
Yeah, I haven't done it for a while. Right now, it's running, which I picked up not so long ago. Meditation, that's mostly it. And then reading, but reading things that have nothing to do with my work.
Like what? Do you have a guilty pleasure? Do you have like a mystery novel bookshelf? Like what's that about?
Science fiction, fantasy.
Yeah,
that's where I go, to those worlds. Yeah,
awesome.
And especially if it's sci-fi with some philosophy, something deeper. Which often, I'm saying this, but when it's not geared towards teenagers, mostly there's some philosophy behind whatever science fiction writers are writing. The last one that really got me like totally engrossed was The Three Body Problem. It was a great reading.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. I have not read that.
It's super, super interesting.
Oh, that's cool. What's your favorite thing to do with another human?
Favorite thing to do with another human? I would say laugh.
Awesome. Okay.
Anyway, I'm staying away from R-rated answers.
Yeah.
but now like with friends, with I've had some of the greatest evenings going out and watching a stand-up comedy, and then connecting with my either friends or family or whatever through laughter. It's not often these days that we're laughing during the day.
Yeah.
And when someone is in front of you and really work their text really well, and they get you to give that belly laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's to me it's really recharging too, in a certain way.
Love it. I was this guy that I know just went to Greece, and I don't know that he's ever really been outside of the United States. I mean, maybe he has. I don't know. But he was really taken by his first night in Greece, where they, it's 10 o'clock by the time they sat down for dinner. And he was like, here's families at 10 o'clock at night eating dinner. And I had a similar experience in Italy, where we just eat for 3-4 hours, have some wine, laughs, drinks, and he was particularly stunned by the fact that nobody had their phone out. It was all just human connection. It was, loving and laughing and being in the moment with the people that you're with. And I thought that was pretty interesting that was his observation the first time out.
Yeah, and I can understand 100%. And just I have a teenager, like a preteen, a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old
Yeah.
kid, and if we set the rules based on what they want, the phone will always be out,
Right.
and always right. And it is true that as soon as it's out, the human connection, it's like you lose. The LTE signal goes up, and then the human signal goes down.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because it's so. Anyway, I've had so many conversations about this with my partner, but it's so attractive. It's so easy to access, and then it gives you those dopamine shots with such little friction that it's insidious in a way. It's a great tool, but if it is sad to see a table of people, especially if you say it's a family, and then each one is like maybe bringing the fork to their mouth and then mindlessly just looking at their screen instead of the human in front of them. So yeah, and if you go, and it's funny because you were mentioning the late night supper, and that's very Southern European, right? And even like small kids there, and like, why aren't they asleep? Well, that's the way things are here, but people are connecting, people are laughing, and are actually giving attention to each other. And it can be shocking when you come from maybe a very urban North American context where just people are on their device all the time.
They're not connected. And that's, I think, I won't go into any dark hole, but I do find that that's maybe why we're in some of the predicaments that we're in currently.
Yeah.
But on a happier note, what is the one place that you haven't been that you want to go to before you die?
Can I tell maybe two? Okay, I'll say one.
Yeah,
the one that
you can do as many as you want.
Okay, but the one that's been with me since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Japan, because of like I said before, the martial arts, the aesthetics, the aesthetics within the martial arts, the architecture, so many things, the spirituality. So Japan. I think it's going to be kind of the voyage of my lifetime, if and when it comes. But there's like I said, I can't even explain, but it's been there since I remember seeing anime, and that was it for me.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, but in the meantime, I would also like to visit India, Tibet, Bhutan, like that part of that neck of the woods, because it's so different, and it has a whole other. It's more. Actually, I think it's more spirit, like it's more spirituality related than Japan is something else. It's more maybe sensory, like to take all of that in. In these other ones, I think it's maybe more to connect with things I've read, with I don't know, people I admire who come from those places.
Yeah. I'd been to Japanese one time, and I didn't get out of the airport, but it was, we were on our way to somewhere else, but we stopped in Narita, and their bathrooms, oh my God, like that was, wow, everything about that. And even like the restaurants in the airport, it's just a whole nother thing. Like it's absolutely chilling.
It's like another planet somehow within within our own. Anyway, one day.
Love it. What's your go-to food, like the thing that David has that is like your comfort spot, the thing that you're just like, you know what, either I deserve this today, or I really just need whatever. Some people it's lasagna. Some people it's borscht. I like.
Yeah. For me, it's so I come from Portugal.
Yeah.
I was telling you before we hit record, I think, or right at the beginning. I was born in Belgium from Portuguese parents, but then came back to Portugal later on. And Portuguese food. I don't know if you've been to Portugal, if you've been to Portuguese restaurants, but it's kind of
Yeah.
Mediterranean. It's a certain variation on Mediterranean food. And there's one thing that we eat there that is not so. I haven't seen it often elsewhere, which is it's codfish, but it's dried salted codfish. So it comes from it used to be fished in Canadian waters, but now I guess more Norway.
Yeah.
But on the boats, they cut them, they open them, and then they dry and salt them. And so this means that they can travel longer and stay fresh, etc., etc. But then
Yeah.
there's a slew of dishes in Portugal. They say 1,001 different dishes of what we call bacalhau, and some of these I really love. And actually, I'm lucky that in Montreal there is a sizable Portuguese community, and I can find these dishes.
Oh,
Yeah, and so sometimes I go get a tray of one of those dishes, and then we all feast on them.
I love
And
it.
then on the side, have you eaten Portuguese ever?
I don't know. I mean,
Often it's roasted chicken, like they have these like Portuguese chicken
yeah.
restaurants. So that's what you may have seen. But where I'm asking because you may or may not know about what comes after the bacalhau, after the codfish, which is this pastry, and that's actually my kind of sweet tooth sin. It's called pastel de nata. It's like I've seen it translated as egg tart,
Okay.
but it's a leaf dough, a little leaf dough cup,
Yeah.
cup, and then within that leaf dough, there's an egg based custard that has a specific magical way they do it. And then when it's coming out of the oven, it's just 2 bites and you've eaten it. You put a little bit of cinnamon on it.
Oh.
So that codfish on first
Yeah.
for the main dish, and then as a dessert. That sometimes I just go to a place 15 minutes away. I have an espresso and a little nata, and that's what I get actually most frequently. That's what I resort to.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. That's like, yeah, I don't think we want to go to Portugal. It's on our list of places to get to. I haven't been yet. I can't think of a Portuguese restaurant in Calgary. Of course, now I'm going to go out and I'm going to see like all of them. So I'll be like, oh, okay, that's what that is. And, we'll go for a bite. Let's just say you're walking down the street in Montreal and it's a beautiful day. Sun is shining, birds are chirping, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, oh, I wish the world knew this one thing. What is the one thing that you wish the world knew? Could be about anything.
Wow. You have some deep questions, Michael. What is the one thing I wish the world knew? There's so much stuff today that the world needs to know.
Yeah.
But I want to say something, but then there's so many people. It's really tough because I think about world level things,
Yeah.
and with my partner we discuss them, but I was okay. I have one maybe connected to my podcast and what I do,
Yeah.
and very often people are fretting because they are trying to do things to get a result. And I'm thinking about, say, a graduate student who, or maybe someone who just got their degree.
Yeah.
and is trying to get that first nice job after their degree,
Yeah.
and often after the PhD, you say, well, it's a PhD, so I need to have a super nice job, not a nice job.
Right.
And then things are not materializing, at least not at the speed that they want. Maybe they're not they have yes answers, but not from that top tier one that they
Mhm.
wanted, but from something. And then they start trying to okay, do you remember being a kid learning how the bike gears work, and then you're like pedaling twice as hard because you have the gears wrong
Yeah.
to go as fast as your friend?
Yeah. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, sometimes just doing more is not the solution. And there's two ways that are coming to me how to say it is: you can't think that you can't control everything. So if you act as if it was possible to control everything, you're going to burn yourself out
Right.
at a certain point. And so sometimes, and you said it just a few minutes ago, sometimes the universe just opens doors to you
Yeah.
because because you maybe started talking to people about something, or about a project that you have, or different things. Like the first job I got out of the PhD was through, and it's you'll see it's convoluted, but it's through the mom of the partner of my partner's best friend. Because my partner knew that I was looking, she probably talked with her best friend,
Yeah.
and her best friend's mother-in-law was working in a school board.
Yeah.
And so I get a call out of nowhere. Hi, David. This is Valerie, and actually, Chris's mom has a job proposition for you. And I was like, What happened here? Right? I didn't do anything. I didn't push any button. I didn't pedal.
Mhm.
I didn't pedal. But I was having these conversations and being open about what I wanted, what my projects, or what an ideal outcome would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that for some people, not everyone, what I'd like them to know is it's not by pedaling harder that immediately or consequently you're going to get the result that you want. Sometimes actually you need to stop pedaling and just cruise, and then look around, and part of this look around is also talk with people.
Yeah.
Sometimes this over pedaling also means that you you started going this tunnel vision mode,
Yeah.
where because you're in tunnel vision, your radar isn't on, your antenna isn't turned on, and you're not picking up signals that may be coming. I don't know if this is too
No, dude, this is bang on. Yep. Exactly what I was hoping for. um, Yeah, and I guess a follow-up to that, maybe not even a follow-up, it could be a separate question entirely, but there are these people that we call rebels in waiting. And I think of these people as somebody who's maybe not quite rebelled yet, or they've taken a step to do something a little rebellious, but they're maybe not fully committed to this idea. And I'm not saying rebellion as a bad word. I'm saying it as a going to go against the status quo and do something a little different.
yeah.
You certainly have set that standard as somebody who's gone left when other people went right. You've zigged when others have zagged. You've reinvented and found your home where you're at now. What advice do you have for these rebels in waiting?
So first piece of advice, if what's keeping you from going full rebel is those imposter feelings,
Yeah.
just to know that imposter feelings are there to protect you. They're part of these behaviors that we have that come from when we were living in caves and needed to be careful to not be to not go into a cave that has a bear in there, or a saber-toothed lion, to not get eaten.
Yeah.
But they are, take them just more as this kind of co-pilot that's just saying, oh, careful, my very antique psychological mechanism is telling me that there might be some danger there.
Right.
And the danger, the actual thing, is that you're going into somewhere unknown. Whenever you go into uncharted territory, there's the risk is, I don't know, there's a moving sand, there's there's different things,
Yeah.
but it's the unknown that brings up imposter feelings. So take the imposter feelings, give them a name, and say, okay, Frank, you'll be here. I'll let you say your things, but I'm not going to give you too much importance. So if keep saying your thing, and then you'll see it's going to start. When it sees that you don't listen, it's going to start toning down. So don't give too much importance to your imposter feelings. If you have an idea, if you have this novel thing, put it out there as best you can. And then when you're satisfied that you put your maximum effort with what you have right now,
Yeah.
then maybe think, okay, do I go on with this or do I do something else? So don't give too much clout to the imposter syndrome or imposter feelings.
Love it.
The second one, of course, and I'm saying this and I go through this every day. Of course, there's people doing things like, similar to what you do out there.
Right.
If not in your city, in your country, if not in your country, on your continent, if not, and somewhere on the planet. But and some of them are starting at the same time as you.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Some have been doing it for 5-10 years. So comparing yourself is also not a good thing to do.
Yes.
In my opinion, because it's often, if you have that little, the little bit of shyness, you're a rebel in hiding, but you also like the safety of the hiding, then you'll say, I'm gonna stay hiding because I can't do the same as that person is doing. The thing is, then what's happening is that you're depriving us, and the world, of your flavor of that thing that the other person is doing.
Yes.
And anyway, that's like I said, something that I myself have, and every now and again, when I want to do something new or change something on the podcast or whatever, I fall into that trap also, or I see myself falling into that trap, and I try to catch myself and say, you know what, they're doing their thing. Good for them. In my case, let's say helping graduate students figure out their careers.
Yeah.
And the way I think is, look, I'm here in Montreal. I do a bilingual thing. I am me, and maybe these people I'm seeing are, let's say, in the States, whatever, they're helping their community. I want them to help their community. Why am I entering this like comparative
Right.
mindset when it's not useful at all? It's more useful for me to actually even congratulate them for what they're doing, and actually get inspired to do my own. I don't know if this resonates.
Yep, sure
Michael.
does. Yeah, those 2 points hit hard. I think that's that's perfect.
And and people, and because my audience, I can, in a certain way, their profile aligns with this hidden rebel in hiding concept that you have, because they're a bunch of people who have like studied hard, one way, and that they get to the end, and they're told, look, the job that you thought was here, only 1 in 5 of you can get it.
Yeah.
The other 4, you're gonna have to reinvent yourself. And then a lot of them are like, well, but I'm a scientist. How do I now reinvent myself? I'm kind of losing my identity. And then they're like, the imposter syndrome goes through the roof, and it's a whole thing to be able to help them kind of rehash everything, retell the story, and actually find a great story, instead of a tragedy, which often is the feeling you get once you get to this point.
I love it. David, this has been an extraordinary way to spend time. I can't thank you enough for joining us here. Where can people find out more about you?
So to find out more about me, if you look for David Mendes, Papa PhD on LinkedIn, I'm there. If they want to reach out to me, it's the best place to do it. Podcast-wise, go to papaphd.com, and you can find the notes pages for each episode, and then also the links to whichever platform you listen on.
Love it.
If you want to have access to me, I do have a community on School, which you can find by using the link papaphd.com/school, and it's SKOOL.
Great.
And it's a community of people who are in graduate school, just out of graduate school, and there I talk. I share. I have some courses in there. Every week I have a couple of coffee hours and then a Q&A time. So if you want access to chat with me, that would be the place to meet. Yeah.
I love it. David, you're awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show. This has been a blast.
Thank you. No. Thank you for having me. It's you asked me some deep questions that I have never had to answer on the mic, and it's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. And I love the concept of your show, and I think you said something when you were talking about the rebels in hiding. I think people out there sometimes don't allow themselves or don't even imagine that they can consider themselves rebels, but just by what they're doing, just by the decisions they're taking, they are, and they should take some pride in it. And so thank you for doing what you do for this community.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Hey, if you're an artist, scientist, entrepreneur, or business owner who wants a smooth and proven method to find, shape, and share your story with the world, head on over to brandjitsu.com and order a copy of my book, Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the Rebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, head on over to the rebelpodcast.com and fill out the guest request form. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.